Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is May 23rd, 2019. This is episode number 2 of the Mo Banter podcast. I am Mo. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So first and foremost, today is the promotion or the 8th grade promotion of my son. So I'm very, very happy. In a couple of months, or a few months, I will officially be the parent of a high school kid. I never would have thought at 36 years old that I would be the parent to a high school child. But that will be my life in a few months, and I'm very, very excited. And Game of Thrones ended on Sunday, and I will be talking about Game of Thrones actually because I'm angry. But the reason might surprise you. We'll talk about that later. The first thing I want to talk about, and I talked about this in my first episode or the first podcast that I did, where I just wanted to kind of create a podcast or have a podcast where I can just talk. Like I don't have no purpose behind this. I just want to talk. Like if you want to apply a purpose to this podcast, that would probably be the purpose. And the reason why I want to do that is because, like, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts in general. Like, I get really, really bored really, really quick. And the two podcasts I really, really like now are the Tony Kornheiser podcast, and you can find them on Spotify, and the No Frills podcast, and you can find them on Spotify as well. And I believe the No Frills has a video section on YouTube similar to like what I'm doing with this podcast, and it's kind of where the idea came from of having a dual, like YouTube and then Spotify. But I'm gonna put this on SoundCloud, obviously. But those are the two, and mainly just because they talk. Like, they do have a purpose in the sense of, like, those particular podcasts are known for certain things, or at least the hosts are. Like, Tony Kornheiser is a Emmy-winning, he hasn't won a prize for writing, but he is a sports writer who is an Emmy-winning for PTI with him and Michael Wilbon. They have a show on ESPN that's been running almost 20 years now called PTI, and I'm a fan from like day one. Like, I remember when it was being advertised, and I love that show when I can watch it. I don't have cable now, so it's kind of difficult. And No Frills is hosted by IFC Yipes and Chris Matrix. You can find both of them on Twitter as well, and they run the No Frills podcast. And like, those are fighting game like legends in their own right, but when they talk, like, they don't have that persona. Like, yes, they talk about those items, but like, when you really listen to those podcasts, they just talk as buddies, as friends, as whatever. They just talk. And I like that format. I like that scenario. So that's kind of what I liked here. And if you just would like to talk about something, shoot me an email. It's a mobanterpodcast@gmail.com. It's moebanterpodcast@gmail.com. Can I have the definition, please? At gmail.com. But anyways, okay, so let's get started. So what I want to talk about, and it's going to be a little bit serious. I know, like, sometimes I come on and I sound kind of goofy and I sound kind of stupid. But like, today being the day that it is, and for me, for my kid mostly, but for me as a parent and for my wife, this is a very big milestone in our lives. We've managed to raise a kid, and and every parent says this, kids are great. My kid is awesome. I love my kid. I love my son. Yes, he has this temper, and sometimes I just want to punch him in the fucking throat. But I love him, man. He makes my life worth living. You know what I mean? Like, that's it right there. He makes my life worth living. And I feel really excited right now. I kind of have like the bubble guts. And I have those feelings right now, at 8:38 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on May 23rd. I have those feelings. Like, I have the bubble guts. I'm excited. I'm here right now because he's at school getting ready. I don't have to be there until like 11:15. So, being the dad that I am, I'm not going to be there until like 11:15, maybe, but whatever. And I'm excited, and I'm happy, and I'm glad to feel that way. And the reason why I say it in that sense is because I don't know how many people have had this, and I don't want to say that it was a depression. It could have been. I don't know, but I haven't officially been diagnosed because I refuse to go to a professional to see if I suffer from depression. So I'm not gonna self-diagnose myself. I'm not gonna say, oh, I suffer from depression. I know this because I went on WebMD and I'm depressed. No, that's one of the most dangerous things you can do. It is one of the most dangerous things you can do. If you feel like you need help, please go get help. Don't be like me and don't be stubborn. If you feel somewhere in the back of your mind that you need help, go get the help that you need, please. That is the most important thing. In any which way that you think you can get the help, please get the help, especially if you have or if you've done things in these states that you never otherwise would have done. Please, 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 please go get help. And that's really serious talk. Please go get help. But for me and me personally, I've gone through bouts of feeling like that, like feeling depressed. You know what I mean? Again, not depression because I don't know officially, but feeling depressed, feeling down, feeling low, kind of feeling like a shell. Like, yes, I'm flesh, and yes, I'm muscle, and yes, all these other things, but I've gone through stretches in my life going back, I think maybe since the start of high school. And maybe all this is like full circle, where I would just feel like a shell, like nothing would make me happy. Nothing would make me sad. I didn't feel much. And I felt like this, like we're talking about like 20 years since I've been in high school, 20 years plus at this point. I'm old. But I felt like this, like at the start of this month and kind of like for the last 2 weeks prior to this, like right after my first episode, like a little bit after that, I felt like just like a shell. And I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. I wasn't a lot of things. And one of the things I wasn't happy, even though a lot of happy things were happening. Like, I can pop a smile and I can laugh and I can experience it. Like I could feel what I was feeling, but I wouldn't feel it inside. I would just kind of feel it like on my skin, like a tingle or like a rash, and I don't know what it was. Like sometimes I can pinpoint to like something that's going on in my life where I go, okay, that's the reason why I feel this way. But those scenarios of like maybe feeling down, feeling let down, feeling useless, feeling, whatever you would like to put here, like that sense, like I can pinpoint it. Oh, I messed up this job interview. Oh, I messed up this. Oh, this job didn't call me. Or, oh, I failed at this. Or, oh, I messed up this. Or, damn, like, why didn't I see this coming? Or, like, I can usually pinpoint it to something. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I really did not know what the hell was going on. But I just felt empty. Like, I just felt empty. And it even came to a point, I'm still kind of feeling the effects of it now. I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm not one for like really hot, spicy food. Like I don't go out looking for like ghost pepper chicken. Like it's not my style. But I had this weird craving for like spicy food. What I'm saying? And for me, like jalapenos are kind of spicy enough, especially if they're like raw. Or even pickled. Like jalapenos tend to kind of give me like that sensation that I need. If not, like the yellow peppers you get like at In-N-Out, for anybody who may be listening to this out of California or like part of the West Coast. In-N-Out is a burger joint out here in Cali, mostly Cali, and they offer you little yellow peppers to take with your burgers. And those, if you bite the whole thing, usually I have a good burn going. Yeah, I didn't feel shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I bought the sriracha burger from Jack in the Box. It's like loaded with jalapenos, has like sriracha sauce, and I legit didn't feel anything. Wifey cooked beans and she put like this big ass yellow pepper in there. It was I think they call them wax peppers or something like that. But those are not like super hot. But at the same time, if you eat one of those, like in the stem area where the capsaicin is in the seeds, like it's a nice little burn. You go, you get that burn. I wasn't feeling anything, and to this moment, I still really don't feel a burn. Like I might get a tingle like right in the corner of my lip, but I'm not feeling it to the point where like now I'm trying to try out, or I'm gonna go check where I might be able to get like some spicy food and see like what my tolerance is, because I'm not sure what's causing this. But this is kind of, I think this is an important topic to talk about. Why is it that we feel this way, and what can we do? Like for me, like I said, at this moment in my life, and not because I've been dealing with it and I feel like, I've been dealing with this for over 20 years and I know how to handle myself. I don't go seek professional help because the few times I've talked to professionals, and maybe because I just can't afford to go to really, really expensive ones, there's an agenda that I feel that they produce, that they're there to tell you what's wrong. They're there to tell you why you feel the same way. It's like, I'm not looking for those answers. I'm not looking to pinpoint what might have been the cause of me feeling empty inside when I had family around me, when I had my kid who was rocking it, when I have a wife who loves me, when I have, like my family that just, that loves me too. My mom, my dad, thankfully, I mean, they're not old or anything, but thankfully they're still on this world for me to enjoy them, for me to spend time, for me to be able to call them and text them, be like, I love you, Mom, I love you, Dad. To have a baby brother and baby sister. I call them babies. They're in their fucking 20s now. To say, I love you, bro. I love you, sis. My cousin, my family, my best friend. Like, I have people around me that I love and love me back. I got a godson and his little brother and that family in Virginia. I got nieces and nephews. Like, I'm surrounded by people who love me. And even those people who I guess you have to say have to love me, even though they don't, but they do. Like even on Facebook, like I have a very small Facebook clan. I think it's like 110 friends altogether, and I've had that account for like 9 years now, and the friend list is 110, people long. When I messed up the job opportunity about a little over a month ago, or maybe not even a month ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago. And I posted it on Facebook, and I might have said this in episode 1. I posted it on Facebook, and people reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, is everything okay?" We're like, "What happened?" Blah blah blah. And it felt good. Don't get me wrong, because some of these people I don't talk to outside of Facebook, and not because I don't want to. It's just that's the way life has led. I've met them at different jobs that we had, and we connected via Facebook. And this is the way we communicate, through little updates, through photos, through like whatever, and DMs and whatever the case may be, comments. This is how we communicate. And like when I posted it, I just kind of posted to kind of have like a wall to bounce stuff off of, like in a trusted environment, because I didn't want it to be like on Twitter, because my Twitter is public. Because I can make it private, but what the fuck is the point of having something like that private? And people go, what the fuck is the point of having a Facebook private? Well, I didn't want a Facebook. That's why I have it private. I didn't want a Facebook. Like, I really did not want a Facebook account, but this is the way people communicate now. You know what I mean? And meeting the people that I've met throughout my career and just my life in general, I wanted a place where I can keep in touch with just them. You know what I mean? So for me, Facebook is kind of like family book. Like, I just want those particular people in my life for this extended period of time after the job is over. So like being reached out by them felt great. So obviously it's not the lack of love in my life that I'm feeling that's making me feel this way. But I literally just woke up one day and just felt empty, felt hollow, felt like I was here. You know what I mean? And it's tough. Like it's a tough feeling, because I personally don't want to be looking for answers. I don't I don't want to get down to what might have caused me feeling this way, because then at that point, knowing myself, I would just be irritated with myself. But weird thoughts do come through your mind, thoughts of hurting myself and stuff like that. And those thoughts are for that moment just thoughts. The thought may last, 5-10 minutes. And to what degree, I don't think it matters. And then I soon kind of rethink back, and think, no, I have my son with me, I have my wife, I have my Facebook fam, I got my real fam. I mean, we're all real fam. Let's not get it wrong, but let's just kind of see where the people are. This is separated for the sake of a storytelling. You know what I'm saying? If I talk to you on Facebook, like, I'll take a bullet for you. So there's at least 110 people I would take a bullet for. That's not blood related in any way. But you all fam. So it's obviously not that, and then like the thought kind of goes away because I know people love me. I know people at least like me, enough to care to say, hey, what's up with you? What's wrong? Is everything cool? I'm saying, oh, you're a great dude and stuff. So it makes me feel good. So like those thoughts are just thoughts for those moments, and luckily, in the 20 years, I've never acted upon any of those. Like I just haven't. Just based on that, but it doesn't stop that feeling of emptiness from still being present. Like I was dealing with it for like maybe like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and like literally up until like maybe like this past Sunday, maybe Monday, I was still kind of feeling this way. And today I feel like I'm excited. You know what I mean? Like I can feel this. I can feel the excitement. Like I'm saying, like I'm nervous to see my kid kind of like cross that milestone threshold of going from 8th grade and becoming a high school student. And I'm happy that I get to experience that. But I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones. And if you're having these feelings, if you feel like you need to express these feelings, express your feelings, express them, talk about them, and maybe not while it's going on, but once you recover, once you've gone into a better mindset for yourself and in a better spiritual sense for yourself, talk about it. Even talk about it while you're going through it. If you have a Twitter, if you have a Facebook, you can even, just go on SoundCloud, create a new account, and just make a blog for yourself, a verbal blog of your stuff. Make a diary for yourself, Captain's log. I think it's important that you express it some way, somehow, so you don't keep it trapped inside. You don't have to talk to other people because, like I said, to me, that is the worst fucking thing that I would want to do in that mode, is to talk to other people. I don't want to talk to other people about those feelings per se. Now, I will express them and I will talk about them and say like this type of format. And if people want to listen, that's cool, because then at that point, it's a one-way interaction. I get to talk about my feelings. People who may be going through similar instances can feel about it and think about their feelings, if they feel similar, feel different, or whatever the case may be, and maybe we can relate. But we don't have to directly communicate with each other. We're not trying to diagnose each other. We're not trying to compare each other's symptoms. We're not trying to compare each other's feelings. We're not trying to compare experiences and this and that. We're not trying to do any of that. And I feel like that's an important step, or that's an important part of the process to get over it for me. And I don't know how many others are like that. But for me, when I was younger, the way I got through a lot of it is I wrote in a journal. And I think I still have them somewhere around here. Like I still have like my journals, like my diaries, like literally of like entries of like me feeling certain ways, whether it was like crushes, girls, people I was dating, people I wanted to date, just feeling useless, just feeling hopeless, just feeling like at 17, 18, 19, 20 that I was going to amount to nothing, and I wrote down, because I don't think we had anything like YouTube or SoundCloud or anything of this sorts. Like, it was, and if you did have it, it was super expensive, just because you needed the equipment, you needed the subscription, you needed to find a way to set up your own server and everything else. And now these services out there that are for free. Get your feelings out there. It doesn't matter if anybody else can relate. It doesn't matter if anybody else understands. And then this is coming from me. If it's important to you, then that's your journey, and you can try to figure out what works best for you to help you feel better. But for me, it's just important for me to be able to just say shit and not get a response, because I don't want to talk about your experiences. I don't even want to really directly communicate my experience. I just want to communicate them. And this is the way that I'm going to communicate them is via this way. And I'm hoping that somebody out there feels, yeah, I felt this way too. And we're clicking right now. We can be literally around the corner from each other, or 1,000 miles apart, or half a world apart, and you happen to, to speak English and you understand me. And you can be like, yeah, I have felt that way before. And you start thinking about yourself, and maybe you go write a journal, you go, draw a painting, whatever, do some cloud, go out and run a 10K. Find a way to express yourself. That is probably one of the most important things that has helped me get over these little, I don't want to call them fits, because fits just sounds wrong. I guess these installments in life where your life seems to be buffering, where your emotions seem to be buffering. Like, you're just there, what I'm saying? Like, you can see the image of a person, but the insides are just kind of buffering and trying to catch up to what's going on. And I think it's important. But I think those feelings have kind of been demonized in a way where people make you feel wrong for feeling that way, where people go, oh, why are you depressed? Why are you this? Oh, well, I had both my parents die, and then my 2-year-old kid got hit by a Mack truck, and I go through life without no fucking issues. Good for you, bro. Like, that's cool. Like, if both my parents were dead, I think I would still kind of be the person that I am. I would feel a little hollow inside. Like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, and I'd probably feel a little, like, down and stuff, or, for a nice chunk of time, because my parents are dead. Now, if something happened to my kid, fuck, I'd be devastated. Like, and I think that's, like, another important, like, tidbit of information is, when I feel like a shell, when I feel empty, my mind goes to fucking dark places. I mean, dark places. Like, places that, even though in those moments I can't feel fear, when I feel the way that I feel now, then look back at how I felt and the things that I was thinking, like, I go, fuck, that's kind of fucking scary. That's scary to think about. And some of the things that I've thought about is, like, what would happen to me if something were to happen to my kid? And whether I'm feeling like a shell and not there, or if I feel like I feel alive, like, that's the thing that I think would fucking break me. Like, I'm a type of person, I don't think I break easily. I might crack here and there, I might fracture here and there. Put some Gorilla Glue on me, and I'm good to go, coach. Put me back out there. But just things like that, what I mean? Like, and I'm not scared to admit it. Like, I'm not scared to be like, I'll be fine. No, like, I think I'd probably break, and it's okay. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay. If you're listening to this right now, and you've had these feelings before, It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel like shit. It's okay to feel miserable. It's okay to feel like a waste of space, a waste of skin. It's okay. It's okay. You owe it to nobody, absolutely nobody, to put your best foot forward, to put a smile on your face and keep your chin up in the air. You don't owe people shit when it comes to how you're feeling. If you're feeling fucking miserable, you feel fucking miserable. It's okay. I felt fucking miserable on the inside. It's okay. It makes life harder. It does. I'm not gonna lie. It makes life harder because you can't enjoy the things that maybe you should be enjoying. You know? But it's okay. You know, and luckily I've come to this point 15 years later with my wife where I just tell her, like, you know, sometimes I don't feel good. I don't know what it causes. I don't know what it is. I just don't feel good. And thankfully over time she's understood a little bit more of what I mean. And she's been very, very helpful in me dealing with this. And hopefully, if you need a person like that, you have one in your life. If I'm the best you can do, I thank you. You know, I thank you. And if this is helping you, no need to thank me. I just want to reassure you that you'll be fine. You'll be okay. Everything is okay. It's okay to feel like shit. But if it goes on for a little too long, and I don't know what too long is, I really don't, because everybody is different. You know, for some people 2 days is too long. For me, like I said, I was feeling like this for close to 3 weeks. You know, I was feeling this way for close to 3 weeks, and it's okay. But that's kind of like my norm. You know, like I usually go about like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, I've gone like a whole month where it just wasn't my month. You know, I go through my days and, you know, like I said, I feel excitement, I feel joy, but it's not to the degree where I know for a fact that in similar situations I felt more excited. I felt more enjoyment. I felt a lot more of that feeling. But at the end, it's okay. You do you. But if you feel like it's going too long, please go get help. Please don't go to a pawn store. Please don't go to your kitchen drawer. Please don't go into your medicine cabinet. Please don't do these things. You know, because I'm not gonna lie. I like being honest, just because this is that fucking serious. Those are some of the deep reaches of which my mind go to. You know what I'm saying? How missed would I be if I just fucking slit my wrist or put a bullet in my brain or just overdid some drugs? I mean, I don't think I have anything in my medicine cabinet that I can, you know what I'm saying? But like, there's chemicals and shit, you know, bleach and cleaner and shit that I can ingest and have it, you know what I'm saying? And that's where my mind goes. And like I said, like those type of things last, you know, if even 5 minutes, because then I start thinking about my kid, I start thinking about my wife, I start thinking about my mom, I start thinking about my dad, I start thinking about everybody who loves me. And it's not so much that because they'll miss me, it's just one of those things of the chaos that I would create if I did some stupid shit like that. And for me, it's stupid. Okay, if you don't feel like it's stupid, that's fine. That's stupid. This is just me. This is just me being me. Like the chaos that I would create doing something like this, I couldn't do this to the people that I love in my life. I just can't. I couldn't. You know, like. So it is a thought, but it's not nothing I would ever act on just because I couldn't do this to my son. I couldn't leave him fatherless on purpose. I can't leave my mom without an extra child. I can't leave my wife without a husband to be there to support on purpose. I can't leave. I can't have my father bury me when I told him I would bury him. You know, like I can't do that on purpose. Now, if I step out of my house and get shot or get run over or get mugged and then fucking like robbed and popped, you know, like those scenarios are out of my control. You know, like I can't do anything about that. But I can do something about not hurting myself. So, but to say that I've never thought about it would be a lie. Yeah, I have thought about it. But I revert those thoughts really, really quick just based on what I just said, what I just told you. But if you feel that way, if you find yourself reaching for something to do this, don't do it, please. Please go get help. Please go get help. Please, 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 please call somebody. Please go get help. You know, it's one of those things that you need to go get help. And if you hear me and you go, yeah, well, you got a kid and you have a wife. Again, we're not here to compare. We're not here to compare and see the difference between my life and your life. You know, oh, you have a mom that loves you. No. Look. Like I said, I've been feeling these feelings off and on since I was 16, 17. And my mind went to the same dark corners. You know, suicide. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the word. I didn't want to use it, but that's the word. You know, just fucking off myself, just suicide. You know, I was having these thoughts at 16, 17, and the same thought process kind of going like, I can't do that to my mom. I can't do it to my little brother, to my little sister. At that point, they were babies. I can't do this to my baby brother, you know, like I can't do this. And one of the mistakes that I would do at that time is say that nobody would give a fuck about me. And for some people that might be true. That's probably the reason why they feel that way. For some people it might be true. Maybe they feel alone in this world. Maybe, you know, they don't have parents, they don't have siblings, they, you know, maybe life dealt them a shitty fucking hand. And right now they have absolutely nobody. But don't give up on the journey to find someone if that is what you're looking for. 16, 17, if I had gone through with my thoughts, I wouldn't be here right now. I would have missed out on meeting one of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life, my wife. And we produced one of the greatest people we have in our lives, our son. I would have missed out on these whole last 15 years had I done that. Because I would have wanted to stop my journey. And again, this is maybe just me, but it's the mindset that I have, is that whenever I feel like shit, whenever I feel empty, whenever I feel down and depressed, and I just feel like fuck my life, like what the fuck purpose do I serve? I gotta just peg it to like, man, this is part of the journey. This is part of the journey. I don't know what the return or the returns are gonna be from this journey. Like I don't know what the pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow. I don't know what that's gonna be, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I'm not one to stop a journey because it got hard. Keep going. Just keep pushing. Again, this is just for me. I'm not trying to tell nobody how to deal with it, but this is my thought process. This is how I think. This is how I go through stuff. I keep pushing and I keep pushing, knowing that whatever darkness I seem to be going through at that moment, at some point walking through it, I will see a speck of light. and the speck of light is gonna have me out. You know what I'm saying? But it's a journey. You know, just as your life can be really really great for a long period of time, you do enough walking, you're gonna find yourself in another dark place. And sometimes you do a lot of shit. You know, you might drink a little bit too much. You might do some stuff. As long as you're alive the next day to keep walking through this path, take it as a win. Take that as your victory. That it hasn't broken you. That you're not broken. You know what I'm saying? You may feel broken, but you're not broken. Realize that it's okay to feel miserable, that it's okay to feel like shit, that it's okay to feel worthless. I've come to the conclusion that it's okay for me. And I walk through it feeling that way through life, looking for that little speckle of light, a little glimmer of hope. And when I see it, I just keep walking. And there's sometimes still a lot of darkness. And it seems like that little dot might be a fucking illusion. You just keep walking, keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Fuck, my legs are tired. My mind is tired. I'm just fucking tired. My back hurts. My neck hurts. Keep walking. And now I'm here. And that whole section that I had for the last 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, is gone. I'm a little sad now talking about it because I kind of remember how I felt, but at least I can feel that. You know what I mean? At least I can feel the tingle in my heart, knowing that damn, I kind of went through some shit. You know, and yeah, I don't know if this is helpful like at all to anybody, but it helps me. And at the end of the day, if I don't want help from others, this is what I have to do to help myself. To talk about it, put it out there, just I guess in a way admit it to myself that you went through this, that you, in a sense, I survived this episode, and now I'm here, and it's gonna be one of the greatest moments of my life, and I get to experience it full hog, and you know. And I'm around still. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where else to go with this particular topic, but if you feel a certain way, if you feel something, if you would like an echo chamber of your feelings, and you don't want criticism, but you need to get them out there and you don't feel comfortable getting them out there, you know, just hit me up. Hit me up at the email. I'll read them. We don't have to discuss them. I'll just read them. If you don't want to omit your name, you know, if you want to omit your name and your email, like I won't read them in the air. I won't read them on the podcast. Just if you just want to feel your voice being read back to you, kind of like a book, so you can kind of reflect on your own and it's helpful. Cool. As I will do that. I can do that for you. You know, and the email is mobanterpodcast@gmail.com. It's MOEBANTER podcast@gmail.com. Did I say that the first time? I think I did. So MOEBANTERPODCAST@gmail.com. But yeah, just know you're not alone, man. Just man, woman. I use man just in general. I probably should stop doing that. But you know, you're not alone. You're not alone. There's plenty of people out there that feel the same way. And to be honest, that person at work that you talk to, that you've known for months, years, you never know. They can go home. You might think, oh my God, they live the greatest life. They tell me about their weekends and they went on a cruise, they went on a trip, they went on this, they went on that, blah 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 blah. They can be going through the same shit you're going, and none of you want to talk to each other about them for whatever reasons. And that's fine. You don't have to talk to anybody about the way you're feeling if you don't want to. But just realize that, there's people out there that feel the way that you do. And it's okay to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? But just go through the journey. Just keep pushing. And if you need help, please find resources to get help. I've never looked, so I really don't know where to point you, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure if you go on Google and just search something like help with depression or depression help, endless amount of resources that you can kind of go through, groups and doctors and whatever the case may be. California is a rec state. So to be honest, that's helped me a lot. Just kind of dealing with it and not being so angry when I do get, because one of the byproducts of me feeling this way when I was younger, and even as little as like a couple years ago, when I would feel this way, I would be super angry. But with California being a rec state since 2018, it's helped tremendously. It's helped a lot. So yeah, if you want to vent it out, express yourself, man. Get a journal, draw, go exercise, find something, play video games, find something that will help you help yourself get better. It's not always easy. Sometimes it's super hard because you just don't feel like doing shit. But just find something, and then just kind of wrestle with yourself a little bit, go through the journey, and then just go through it. And if this has helped anybody in the sense of like I'm echoing what you have felt or feel, I'm glad. I'm glad that I'm just not just speaking and nobody else can comprehend or understand. But yeah, so I'm gonna leave that off like that. But just know that it's okay. And things do get better, even though you might not see it in the foreseeable future, or once you feel good, your life kind of brings you back down again. It's all part of the journey. Sometimes, sometimes life isn't fair. Sometimes life sucks. And I think we've all gone through that. You know what I'm saying? But life gets better. Life gets better. Life will always present you with challenges, but always reward you as well. And I've gone through both, and yeah. Okay, so moving on. So Game of Thrones. Damn, it's over. I didn't want it to be over. So it ended May 19th, around 6:30, 7 o'clock, maybe a little bit later. Wifey, I popped up HBO Now, put on Game of Thrones, and it's over. I loved it. I absolutely fucking loved it. Every single fucking minute of it, I loved. Now, there were some episodes, I'm not even including the last season, but just episodes in general, all 8 seasons. There were episodes where I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. So, and season 8, I fucking loved it. I loved it. Every fucking episode I fucking loved. Now, going from where we were to where we are now, I feel extreme fucking anger. And I'll tell you why. And again, this is me as a person just talking. And one of the things I do is I talk a lot of shit. Because some people need to be talk shit too. Again, this is kind of how life is. Y'all motherfuckers complain too fucking much. I swear. Like, since like episode 3, nothing but fucking bitching about the biggest things that had happened in this. I don't understand what it is that people were expecting from the final season. It's the final season. Like, you cannot have, unless you plan to make a season 9 or you for sure, we're going to end Game of Thrones in whatever way you were going to end, other than the way that it ended, and then create like a Game of Thrones something else that would have basically focused around the same cast of characters, the ones that were still alive anyways, then yes, season 8 would have played out differently. I feel would have played out differently. But this was the final season. They said this was the final season. This was it. This was it. It was over. This was going to be it. They were talking about spin-offs of Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones even ended. That's how you knew this was it. This was gonna be the last thing they were going to do with this series as we knew it. And people have been doing nothing but bitch the entire fucking time. And it started with the first gripe. And we're gonna talk a long time about this because I got a lot of time left on this fucking free account time for this month. We might talk about this a lot, and I don't gotta leave for like another at least hour and a half. So I might just take up my whole time right here talking about this shit right here. It started with the way the Night King, was it the Night King? Yeah, started with the way he fucking died. I'm gonna look this shit up just to make sure because I'm pretty sure it started with this, and I want to make sure that I got my timeline right. Let me see here. Yep, okay. It was with the death of the Night King. Okay. So, you know, they've been amping up winter is coming since season 1. I believe the first time they encountered this winter was season 4, season 5, season 6. I can't fucking remember. I gotta go back and watch all these episodes again because I love the show, and I do remember like key moments. I just, I can't pinpoint what episode and what season they came about. But anyways, they encounter the Night King. He's past the wall. They, find a way to defeat him, or find a way to defeat the undead or what the people that he raises with dragon glass. Like, oh, we have this method of killing them with dragon glass and this and that, blah 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 blah. And they, from the point of discovery and the point of this, they go through this whole fucking journey, and that's just one scenario. That's one thing that's happening in this whole massive, expansive kingdom universe. That is one aspect of it. Then you got the kingdoms fighting amongst themselves, and you got other shit happening. You have Sansa going from, like, if you go to like season 1, being like this lady who just wants to be a queen. She wants to be regal. She wants to be the missus to Joffrey, and she wants to that was her goal in life in season 1. Then you see her in season 8, and she's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, she grew up so much, and like a lot of shit happened to her. But anyways, like that's kind of like what I'm trying to say is all the characters that we have invested in. We needed closure. That's how storytelling works. Like if you took an English class, and most of us have in America, if you have taken an English class, or if you're really young and somehow come across my podcast, welcome. You will take a class. You will take an English class, and it tells you how to be an effective story writer. And literally it goes with, you start, like, think about it like a roller coaster, right? You start off, you load, and you're just loading the story. You're packing yourself. You're setting it up. And then hopefully you've been on a roller coaster before. You pull out the base, and that's that's basically the once upon a time. And then you say words, and you just hear the chain or whatever. And we're gonna go with the chain one because I know they have the magnetic ones that kind of just blast you off at 110 miles an hour. That's fine. No, we're gonna go old school. We're gonna go chains. And and you start hearing tick 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 tick, and that's just you talking stuff. And then you kind of go up the hill, and you still hear tick 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 tick. But things start getting a little bit more exciting, right? Because like you're going higher. And it's like tuck, 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 tuck. And the higher you're going, the more exciting you're feeling about what's going to happen. Right? And that's kind of how all the seasons kind of played out. Individually. That's how all the seasons played out. Individually. And that's fine. But at the same time, you have to step back and realize that season 8 was going to end everything. So it was kind of like a roller coaster within a roller coaster. We have had seven. I don't know if I was gonna try to go for 7 or several. Either way, we've had 7 seasons of these roller coaster rides. Correct. But the huge roller coaster, the big Mama Jama roller coaster, was started season 1, and then like everything in between was like a roller coaster within a roller coaster. So literally, it was like, okay, cool. Season 1 started. You're on season 1 platform, and then you're pulling out. Season 1 starts, goes through the whole thing, and for people who don't remember, season 1 started boring as fuck. Season 1 was fucking boring. Like in the grand scope, in the grand scheme of everything that had happened in this show. Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, Season 6, Season 7. Season 1 was fucking boring. What did we see in Season 1? We saw a man get beheaded, and that was probably like, and I'm not talking about Ned Stark. Spoilers, sorry. We're not talking about Ned Stark. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how the show fucking starts. Is with the King of the North beheading the guy, then talking to Jon Snow, who we later come to find out is this bastard. Talking about like why I sentenced this man to death, so I'm gonna put it myself, and it kind of goes with this whole thing of just kind of setting up what the kingdoms are. Like I said, Sansa wasn't Sansa who she is now. Arya wasn't who she was. Bran wasn't who he was. You know, Jon Snow wasn't who he was. You know, then you had like Theon, and you had a bunch of other characters who like you get introduced to. And then little by little, they start separating and they start building their own branches and their own little subset of stories within this massive universe as we're going through all these roller coasters. So season 1 was the platform, was the beginning platform, right? But it was the beginning platform of not just season 1, but this entire roller coaster. So season 1 platform, you get on and you season 1 is kind of like season 1. And it's like, you know, you go through season 1. And it's like, it's one style of roller coaster, right? It's just one style of roller coaster. You just probably just had like the old school mountains. You went up to the peak, went down, went back up a mountain, went down, and then it ended. Cool. But the platform continued. You know what I'm saying? You just take this long ass fucking break where you just kind of go steady and nothing is happening. It's almost like a train ride. You just kind of keep going. And then you get to season 2. That's roller coaster 2, but you're still on the same fucking ride. You never even got off the damn car. You never got off the cart. Now season 2 starts. And now all of a sudden somehow this transition from a wooden old school coaster, and now you're just like on the metal coaster. Still chains, a little bit smoother. And you're going through the same thing. And maybe you find a loop in season 2. Cool. Season 2 is over. But you're still on the same roller coaster. Somehow this roller coaster magically fucking like translates and transforms into like a different coaster. Now you're on a magnetic electric one that takes off. So you pull into season 3, whoo, and you take off fast as fuck, and you're just going straight, but you're going fast as fuck. Takes you up a hill, you might get a corkscrew, and that's how everything was. Now you get to season 8, but you still have to connect it because it's a circuit. You still have to connect this roller coasters to the rest. So even though you have experienced 7 different roller coasters, and they were all more, I'm going to say they were all more exciting than the previous one, they all led to something else, right? So that's how this storytelling was. Yes, season 2 had exciting moments that you were waiting for some sort of resolution, maybe in season 3, season 4, season 5, whatever. But it mentioned things because it was leading to another roller coaster. It was leading to another ride. It was leading to something else. So yes, those seasons were more exciting to push the story forward, to keep you interested. There was nothing beyond season 8. We have to close the circuit. We have to close the circuit. Sorry, guys. My wife is texting me. Sorry, guys. I know this makes for like compelling podcasting. This is life. Yeah, she's texting me because they're having a BMX assembly show for the last day of school at my kid's school. So she was like, she's invited. She's asking me if I want to go see it. She's always thinking of me. She's so wonderful for that. But I'm doing this, so I can't. Plus, I gotta take a shower anyway, so I wouldn't be able to get out the door and be there in time for the show, anyways. But anyways. So yeah, so they're all leading up to something else. They're all leading to different experiences, different shows. But this had to close the circuit. This had to close. Everything that we have been building up to had to be closed in season 8. And that's what this whole season was. It was closure for this season. So if we start off with the death of the Night King. And spoilers abound. Spoilers abound for season 8. If you haven't seen it, Don't even listen. I don't think I'm going to mention anything else. This is going to be all Game of Thrones. This is going to end the podcast, and we're going to end it on Game of Thrones. So spoilers. Now, I don't think I've said anything that I've spoiled this season just yet. Spoilers. Everything else, look, man, you've had time to watch season 1 and some of the other shit that I probably mentioned. You've had time. And damn, I might have just spoiled some shit. Anyways, Game of Thrones. I fucking said Game of Thrones. It's your fault you're still here, bro. Like, that's one thing. I don't want to really spoil anything else because I know some people haven't watched the entire 8th season yet, and because life. But anyways, what did she say? Okay. So it starts with the Night King. You know what I'm saying? Comes down to the north, 7 kingdoms. They prepare for battle. They're making like weapons out of dragon glass and all this stuff. Believe at the end of season 2, sorry, not the end of episode 2, that was it. They were there. It was prepped and ready to go fight. And then season 3 comes, and I talked about this episode a little bit in my first episode, how it was too dark and this and that, and that started the bitching. That started the fucking bitching. And then the Night King dies at the hands of Arya. You know what I'm saying? She tries to sneak up on this dude, jump on his back and stab him. He turns around, just chokes her ass, has her by the throat, like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. And then, she has this knife just kind of like waiting. She like kind of like drops it, gets it there and just shanks the dude, just right in the ribs. Bam! Dead! Got him! And he dies. And then that just led to the whole thing. Oh my God, we've been hyped up for so long about this fight, and it ends like this. It ends like that. Oh, it should have been like at least 2 or 3 episodes. No, how? With the way that episode played out, how was it gonna be 2 episodes? If it doesn't end that way, explain to me how you make that shit more feasible. How you make the defeat of the Night King more feasible and more acceptable without ending it that way. In my mind, there's no fucking way. There's no way. Dragon comes down. The dragon helps a little bit. It helps with the defense of the north. With the dragon. 2 dragons at that. Right? Because they had a hard time seeing. They're battling in the air. Cool. They have a big ass scramble. Daenerys gets fucking cute. She thinks she's all fucking cool. She's on the fucking floor. She gets protected. She takes off in her dragon. Jon Snow's on the floor thinking, you know what? Well, I got my steel here. I'm gonna go kill this dude. I think it's my duty to go kill the Night King. He tries. He ran up behind the zoo with his sword. Night King turned around and smirked at this motherfucker like, what the fuck you gonna do? What you gonna do? Jon Snow was here thinking, oh, I got this motherfucker. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. The Night King looks at this dude, raises his hands, just raises his hands like a messiah, since just rise. His army grew. Everybody who was dead in the vicinity of the north was re-risen as an undead. This army grew to at least twice its size. Right? So if the army that had Dothraki and Unsullied and warriors from the north, and then the Dothraki had their swords fucking engulfed in flames because Aurelia like blessed them with fire to help them in this situation. If them at 100% could not easily defeat the army of the undead, then they get their whole fort decimated and fucked up. And then this would just raise another army by defeating these guys. Tell me how many episodes it's going to take for a 10%, 20% army to defeat a Night King who just doubled his forces. How do you make that more feasible? Tell me how you make that shit more feasible. Outside of the heat of battle, how you make that more feasible? You can't. Yeah, like it sucks. Like, don't get me wrong. It sucks that we couldn't extend it. Like, maybe they could have started like a little war a little bit further up and had this drag out for like 2 or 3 episodes and then kind of come down for like for season 8 and then maybe drag that out for like another 2 episodes. Like, yeah, that maybe it would have been a little bit more exciting, a little bit more cool, maybe. But for how it was, for how it was rated, for how it was filmed, for how it was supposed to be told, and how it played out, you can't stretch this out for 2 episodes. There's no feasible way you can stretch this out for 2 episodes and then be okay with the results, because the results are going to be the same. The Night King is going to die, right? Either that or he's going to take it over. He becomes the one who sits on the Iron Throne. Who the fuck is going to defeat him? Whether or not that's feasible in the grand scheme of things, like, I don't want to hear, oh, you're stupid because they're ice and they can't go further than north anyways because they'll just melt. I don't give a fuck about any of that. All I'm saying is, at the end, either he's going to be alive in the up north or he's going to be dead. They decided to fucking kill him, so he died. With the way the ending played out, how do you make that more feasible outside of 1 episode after he just doubled his army size? How do you do that? There's no way. There's no way. We talked about suspending your perception of reality to accept reality. That's fine to a certain degree. With the way this played out, I'm okay with. I'm okay with him getting stabbed. I was excited. I was happy when that happened. I was like, oh, damn, she got him. And you see everybody blows up and the Night King is defeated and the North is saved. Everybody who got turned dies, unfortunately. And even if you got turned and risen up, you all blew up, including the dragon, which was the saddest fucking thing for me in the whole thing. The dragon, you know what I'm saying? Like the main dragon that Daenerys had, like getting up dead. I was like, no, we can't bring him back. Now there's only 2 dragons for reals. And people bitched about it. Oh, we should. No. You have to close it out. You have to. If the Night King doesn't die right there, how do you make it more feasible for him to die in the future if you're going to kill him? You can't. So it ends right there. I was happy with that conclusion. Done. Move on. If you did not like it, I understand it. I understand being disappointed in how it ended. How this whole big ass hype train of like this and that. I can see people being disappointed, but you leave it at that. You go, it was okay. I didn't like it. Whatever. But no, you have to go online. You have to go on Twitter. You have to go on Facebook. Ruin it for everybody. If you're on TV, I heard about some chick on fucking TV. They just kind of ruined the ending for the whole finale. Like on that Monday. You go and you ruin other people's good times because you somehow feel cheated. What the fuck you feel cheated about? What do you feel? What the fuck are you entitled to? What exactly do you feel you're entitled to by watching this show that you can be so negative about the way that it's written or the way that it's filmed or the way that it's displayed, portrayed? Any word you want to use for this. What do you feel you're entitled to? What the fuck do you think HBO and the writers owe you? They don't owe you shit. This was the show. They haven't owed you shit since episode 1. Why do they owe you shit for season 8? I don't understand that concept. I understand the concept of disappointment. There have been plenty of movies and plenty of shows that I've watched and go, damn, that's how it ended. Shit kind of sucked. And then I express it. Yeah, this sucked because of this. Maybe a few hours, maybe a couple of days. You know what I mean? But I don't go on social media and just and blast it for forever and ever. You know, like I say my quip and I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Talk to people, you know, talk to my wife, talk to the homies who made to watch the same movie, and we talk about it and it's done. It's done. If it gets mentioned again, like, I didn't like it. If I really, really hate it, like, oh my God, that movie was fucking terrible. Birth. Ever seen Birth? Nicole Kidman? That movie fucking sucked. And if you haven't seen Birth, don't fucking watch it. Basically, it's about a lady who loses her husband, thinks her husband was reincarnated in the body of a little boy because he knows details about them intimately, and she starts messing with this little kid. And the movie is hard to fucking watch. Like it was hard to watch back then, and it was kind of okay to be creepy. Now 2019, and I got an older son because I didn't have a kid back then. Now having a son, I'm like, man, this bitch is fucking creepy. If that was my kid, I'd kill her. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck you doing with my kid in the bathtub? Fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck if you think this is your husband. Like, this is not gonna happen. Like, bitch, I will fucking end you. And then it ends in some weird fucking way that doesn't really have an ending, and that was it. I felt fucking cheated of my $10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to redo the date. But that's it. I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? I was done with it. It sucked. And I'll tell you how I felt, and I'm done with it. Now it's out there forever, but I'm done with it. I don't let this affect my life for any longer than it has to. So that's when the bitching started. It was episode 3. Episode 4 was... So there were 6 episodes. So then episode 4, they started making their way down because now they have to talk to Cersei and come down to King's Landing. And then Daenerys wants her throne, her birthright. So they come down. Dragon dies. Damn, man. Dragon fucking died. That sucked. Dragon dies. They get ambushed by ship. And then they kidnap Miss Sunday. All right. Or they take her hostage. They come to find out, you know, shit happens in between the episode. They go and talk to Cersei, and they have Miss Sunday up in like a little platform on the castle. And she's trapped, and you know Tyrion comes and talks to Cersei, tries to go to her human side, and this is one of the most like baller ass sad things I've ever seen happen in a show, where Tyrion or a character expresses something heartfelt and tries to avoid conflict, and Cersei looked at him, said, just smirked, walked up to Miss Sunday and said, if you have any last words, now's a good time to say them. Or something along those lines. I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something along those lines. And I'm sorry if I just fucking killed that. But something along those lines. And then she looks out at her queen. She looks out at her queen. And she says, Dracarys! You know, she screams it. Mountain steps down, just chops her motherfucking head off. Damn. And you can see that look. You can see that expression. Daenerys snapped. Daenerys snapped. She lost dude during the war. And the thing about Game of Thrones is like what I hate about myself, not necessarily Game of Thrones, what I hate about myself is like I'll watch a show literally like characters and not know what the fuck their name is. It's like real life for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever worked at a place for a long ass fucking time and talked to somebody for a long ass fucking time and you don't know their fucking name? Right. I'm not the only one. I know a lot of people have done this shit. That's how I do with a lot of shows. Like the dude, the head wildling. I call that dude Justin Turner because he looks like the Dodgers Justin Turner. Like, I always call him Justin Turner. I don't know what his name is. I've been watching the show fucking forever, and I really can't remember what his name is. Because I've been calling him Justin Turner since, like, he started. Like, he's Justin Turner to me. You know what I mean? So that's the equivalent of, like, you talking to the dude, and then, like, his name is, like, Bob or some shit, and then you've been calling him Steve for, like, a year. Right? So that's how it is with me in this show. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? If you watch the show, you know who Daenerys lost in episode 3 during the war. She lost that guy who was like by her side, you know, the entire time. He wound up getting the gray scale and she did him wrong, so she vanished him and came down and he survived, and then, you know, like, he risked his life to save her, and then she loses him, right? She loses him in episode 3 and she's already heartbroken. And then the whole thing comes out that Jon is actually the rightful heir because he is the boy Targaryen, and he is the rightful heir to the throne, and he was hidden. The reason why they had this whole thing is because Ned Stark saved him, and you know, like, that's like making him a bastard and claiming he was Ned Stark's bastard was the only way to save him, and because he would have died any other way. And now once he finds out and she finds out, now she feels like she's losing him. The person that she's come to love and respect, even though that was her nephew, you know. But, like, you know, man, we talk about this, you know, back in the days, you know, like, especially during Kingdom times, you know, like, people would marry their sisters and their cousins and their aunts, and, like, you know, so, like, outside of the realm of that being creepy by today's standards, in the time where this story is set, it was normal. So that's fine. You're losing the man that you love based on this fact, on this story, on whatever the case may be. You're losing it. That's fine. So now you feel alone. You feel trapped. You feel, you know, you're starting to feel a little bit empty. Then you lose Miss Sunday. Like, this was the lady who helped her become the queen that she is. You know what I'm saying? This was her best friend. This was her confidant. This was her girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it's my girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna rock. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna rock with my girl right here. Like, man, as long as she with me, that's my dog. We cool. We straight. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Nobody fucking with us. Ooh. You know? And she loses her. Okay, so that's how episode 4 ends. Episode 5 comes. They have, you know, they're going through this whole thing, and, you know, like, and you start thinking, okay, they're gonna have to, like, accelerate this battle as well, because there's only 6 seasons that were promised for this, you know, or 6 episodes that were promised for this season. So season 5 or episode 5 comes out, and they have a fight. You know what I'm saying? The remaining army of the North plus the Dothraki and the Unsullied, with the one dragon they got left, have to take over King's Landing, and they're trying to find a way to minimize casualties. At least that's the thought of it. And shit changes. Shit goes crazy. People get lit on fucking fire by this dragon, and they capture the soldiers. They defeat them. They get into King's Landing. King's Landing rings the bell, signaling that they are quitting. They are raising the flag. They surrender. They're surrendering. That's the word I was gonna get to. They're surrendering. Okay. The war is won. Daenerys perches her dragon on the walls. She hears the bells. She sees the Red Keep. She's like, fuck this. Fuck this entire kingdom. Fuck everything. Fuck all of you. This motherfucker is burning down to the ground. Dracarys, motherfuckers! And she goes and lights shit up everywhere. Blows everything up, lights shit up. Everything just fucking melts and dies, and she goes fucking crazy. I was taken aback. I was like, damn. is this what triggered by Miss Sunday saying of Dracarys? Like, is this what she was thinking? Like that was like, you have to think that was probably part of like the request that was the last word, right? Dracarys. She and the actress who played Miss Sunday said, "Burn this bitch down." You know, when people were trying to figure out what the meaning of her last words, and I kind of knew, like, you know, I knew what Dracarys meant. I was kind of, I thought what was going to happen at the end of episode 4 was that she was going to get on her dragon and try to burn right there on the spot. But even like as people were trying to figure out, and there was articles on this, the actress even said, you know, like, this is what I meant. This is what my character meant in the show. Burn this bitch down. It's like she legit fucking said that on Twitter. So Danny burned this bitch down. Again, people bitch. Oh my god, I can't believe she became so evil. I didn't see this coming. Oh my god. How the fuck did you not see this coming? How did you not see this coming? What show have you been watching? Everything led to this. This is a lady who was used as bait, who was used as a gift by her brother, was literally pimped out by her brother so he can have a force to take over the kingdom. And somehow she was able to surpass that and become Khaleesi. And somehow earn the respect of the Dothraki. And becomes the mother of dragons. When she freed the slaves, I can't remember the name of the place, and when she freed the Unsullied with baby dragons, the first thing she did was burn the slave owner. Burned him with the dragon. And even throughout the show, she expresses the difference of the people that she kills, even if they appear innocent, to the people that she decides to let live. And while I think the reach of it is a little overextending, she has given reasons for this. The Unsullied killed on behalf of those masters because they had no choice. Males kidnapped from their families, taken from their families, even sold by their families, castrated so they can't reproduce, bred, trained for battle, killing machines. She trusts them because they had no choice. So she sees them as a benefit to have, because now they're not necessarily in debt to her, but they have undying loyalty because that's the way they are naturally. And being freed, she knew she could trust them to always have her back. And they did. The burning of innocence, and we're coming back to episode 5. The burning of innocence was explained. That she did this because those people are free. They are a free mind, a free thought, and they are complicit with injustices happening to others because they are free. So as long as it's not happening to them, they're okay with the decisions their rulers make on their behalf. So when she had the chance to spread some of that injustice that others were experiencing on behalf of that kingdom onto this kingdom, she burned the whole motherfucker down. I don't understand what's so difficult to understand about that. Now, it would have been different had she just burned everything down, including the people who were loyal to her. The Dothraki, the Unsullied. Those being the main two. If she had burned the whole place down with no discretion, no remorse, even though it appears that she did that, but she didn't. I don't understand what you were expecting. Did you just expect her to just kind of like kneel and walk up to Cersei and be like, ha 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 ha? No, she let it be known, bitch, this is mine. I don't want your fucking kingdom the way that you have it. I want this shit as mine. So I'm going to burn this bitch down to the ground and I'm going to start anew. She purged it with fire. She purged it with fire. She christened that shit with fire. Burned that motherfucker down to the ground. And people fucking bitched. Why? What show have you been watching? What show have you been watching where you didn't think this was going to be a possibility? Yes, I understand you probably named your kid Khaleesi, which is fucked up, to be honest. I don't know why the fuck you would name your kid Khaleesi. Because the point of when she became Khaleesi, she was more like a fucking geisha and she was a bargaining chip. That's fucked up if you called your daughter Khaleesi. Go back on the show. It's a nice sounding name, but the name itself is fucked up to give a kid. I'm gonna fucking put that shit out there. If you want to call her Daenerys, you know what? I actually like Daenerys. I don't know if I would name my daughter that, but I do like the name. I can kind of see that being a nice name. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Arya. Actually, my niece is named Arya after the character. But like, what were you watching? What were you expecting? Like, this was going to happen. Like, she, like, little by little, she's being robbed of her humanity because people keep dying or keep betraying her. So she was like, "Fuck this! I'm starting new. Burn this motherfucker down." People were upset. I can't believe it. Live with it. Fuck it. Be done with it. And then the finale comes. You know, episode 6. Nothing exciting happens. Nothing exciting happens. Literally, like I'm trying to think. You know what? I take that back. Take that shit completely back. Let's come back. Let's come back. I'm gonna correct myself. Exciting shit did happen, just not in the way that we expect. I guess like a Game of Thrones exciting shit to think to happen. Okay, so again, spoilers if you haven't seen the last episode. If you've gone this whole way, I'm gonna talk about the last episode, the finale. Stop now. Come back later. We're at an hour and 21 minutes. Come back. So it starts off Tyrion, Jon Snow, the army is walking through devastation. People are being burnt. King's Landing is in fucking rubbles, ashes. They're covered in it. You know, Tyrion goes to look for Jaime and Cersei on his own to get some closure on his life. More I think more on the Jaime side than the Cersei side. Just because, you know, he had a heartfelt thing. I think that was the end of the episode 4 where he frees Jaime. Yeah, anyways. He frees Jaime. And, you know, he's like, "You always treated me like a brother. You always treat me as another person." And, you know, it's heartfelt. So then he finds him, and unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. And he starts crying. You feel bad for the character because, you know, like, you know, this character kind of started off as annoying and then just became kind of like one of the best characters in the damn show. So he gets that. You know, they run through some more stuff happens. Daenerys comes out and she starts talking. She gives her victory speech and how now, instead of her original plan of ruling the 7 kingdoms, is now going to expand to the rest of the unknown world, where they're going to free the world and have this world of innocence and peace and all this other stuff and this isn't. But she's saying it in Dothraki. So Jon and Tyrion can't really understand her, but, you know, you can kind of pick up from the vibe, and they do explain that later on, and you know, some other shit happens, and I'm not going to explain everything. I'm going to explain like the big parts. And, you know, and then Tyrion comes out. He gets put in prison because of the shit that he did, disrespecting the queen. Jon Snow goes to talk. Tyrion convinces this guy, like, "Hey, you know, you need to save the world." And, you know, the episode's kind of slow. Daenerys makes it to the throne room. She sees the Iron Throne. The whole thing, her whole concept, her whole everything. She gets to see what she's been wanting. She has the Iron Throne. She touches it. Jon comes in. She turns to him, goes up to him, talks. You know, they have their story, and they talk about what she's saying and what she meant and everything else. Jon Snow kills her. At that moment, I heard both of them go. So I honestly thought for a brief moment that she got him, that she had killed him. I was like, no, she killed Jon. But no, it was a reverse. I was like, oh, damn, like I can't believe it. And then the dragon comes up, you know, and that part was sad, man. Like I know the dragon is fake and digital, but like the animators of that dragon during that scene were on point, because it's like anything else, man. Like the dragon's like, come on, mom, like get up, mom, like, oh, like if you're old enough, or you know the scene in the Lion King, where when Mufasa dies and Simba comes on to see Mufasa, like, come on, Dad, get up. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking, the dragon lost his mom. And you know, and then the dragon in his fit of rage, like, burns down the throne. It's like, well, my mom can't sit on this after this whole big ass fucking war, and she's here dead. Fuck this, and just burns the whole fucking thing. Burns that shit to the ground. That shit was fucking dope. And in that part, because that's kind of like the middle part, and then in that sense, that was one of the most devastating things I've ever seen in that show. Not because she died. The fact that she died, man, she out of all the people who had died in this show, she died one of the most tame fucking ways. You know what I'm saying? But it was a thing of like, since the end of season 1, maybe the beginning of season 2 or around season 2, when we get introduced to this character and she realizes that now that, you know, like after everything happens, she has a take or a chance at the Iron Throne. This was her whole goal, was to free people, build an army, and then rule the 7 kingdoms and sit on the Iron Throne. She was right there. She touched it. She smelt it. She felt it. She didn't even get to sit on it. She didn't sit on it. Out of all the near-death experiences, all the people that she had killed, to claim her birthright, or at least as she saw it, to claim her birthright, to sit on the Iron Throne, she was right there. She touched the motherfucker. And she didn't sit on it. She died before getting to sit on the Iron Throne. That to me was the most devastating thing. You know what I'm saying? That's like being part of like a championship winning sports team. Seeing the trophy being passed around. You know, you get to hold it, you get to kiss that trophy, like, yeah, we're the champs. But then you just get to kind of like touch it, but nobody ever passes it on to you to hold. So you kind of like wait your turn, and then it goes to the owner, they do the presentation, and then the whole ceremony is over, and then the hype is done, and all you did was touch the trophy. That's kind of what it was like. She didn't even get to sit on it. It was like, holy fuck, like, I can't believe this. I can't believe it. I can't believe she didn't get to sit on it. And then, you know, the episode ends, and it closes out all the characters. Now, if you want to watch that, you know, if I haven't spoiled it enough already, and you've been listening to it, I'm not going to spoil, like, the ending, but none of it upset me. Because every character that's still living has a way, if you're really that invested on those particular characters, have a way to at least have a mini series made of them, where they can talk more about these characters. All of them do. But at least for me, I know what's happening with those characters. I know what the future might hold for those characters, even at the end. I'm not interested in any of those characters in a way where I would watch a spinoff off any of them. To be honest, like Jon Snow would probably be the closest one. But like, I really don't care. But I'm happy that a lot of the endings ended that way. But no, here comes the bitch train. oh, can we just ask for a do-over on season 8, please? What the fuck did you expect? You have to close the story. You cannot have loose ends in the finale. This put a bow on the whole thing. And I think the main problem that we have is that we're so used to explosions. We're so used to not having a story told to us. Because a lot now. And not necessarily just like the Marvel movies, because the Marvel movies are pretty good on story. But most movies nowadays, especially like blockbuster movies, are all flash. They have no story. The story is weak at best, and the story is just there to move the explosions along. You know, but like that's kind of how it seems society goes as a general. We watch longer shows because we expect little snippets of explosions in between. At minute 6, explosion. At minute 16, explosion. At minute 25, explosion. Story. Explosions are done. Episode is done. We move on. There's no storytelling, and I think that's a societal thing. The reason why everybody is so fucking disappointed is because they've gone through, at this point, 5 seasons of explosions and shit happening and shit being real and shit being like killed and all this stuff that fucking happens that you expect that for the final season. It's the final season. It's a story that has to end. How do you expect to end the story with explosions? It doesn't work that way. For anybody who says they're a true fan of the fucking show and can't appreciate the last fucking season, you're no fan of the show. Just because you've been watching it for 8 seasons doesn't mean you're like the most hardcore fucking fan and you deserve. No. If you go back and watch season 1. Go back and watch season 1. And realize how dull compared to the seasons that follow it, that season actually is. It's all story. The explosions don't start until Ned Stark gets beheaded. That's when everything goes to shit. That's where all the that's when you light the fuse for the kegs that are gonna blow up all the way fucking through. That is the beginning. Is when Ned starts getting his head fucking chopped off, the fuse is lit, boom! You go through the seasons and everything's fucking blowing up because of that one instance. Or at least that's the trigger for that one instance. But like when you think about like the way that show started was though, like I remember watching the first episode. And I watched the first episode after Hodor had died. Cause like all I heard was like, hold the door, and people were like, oh my god, you know, like cause the Hodor died and the way that he died and all this other stuff and why he says Hodor, you know what I'm saying? Because like I guess it's in his consciousness, some other life or whatever, that's what he had to do, and he's trying to say hold the door. So we go through it, but like I started watching it because I wanted to see the show. And I remember watching the first episode and going, nothing happened, but I'm interested. I watched episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, and each one, again, not many things happened. It was all story. But the show had me. The show had me. Based just on how great the storytelling was, the show had me. And then when Ned Stark dies, I was like, holy fuck, what the fuck just happened? I can't believe this shit. And you go through all the scenarios where everybody was already like, oh my god, you saw the Red Wedding, you saw this, you saw that. I was like, yeah, bro, what the fuck? And I'm like, I know, right? And man, you have to close all of that out. You have to close all of it out. And that's what season 8 was. It was a closeout to everything that you have been enjoying this entire time. And if you cannot appreciate it, I don't know what the fuck you were expecting. And again, it comes down to this whole thing of like, and then for petitions to go out there and have like 16,000 signatures in the first like 24 hours. And I think at some point I heard it was like some sort of like hundreds of thousands of people who were petitioning to have season 8 redone. Like, look, man, even if you sign that shit, ironically, do something better with your fucking life. Do something better with your fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, putting this much Putting this much effort in spreading negativity over your dismay of how a room full of writers and directors portrayed your favorite character, get over your fucking self. Get the fuck over yourself. And just get the fuck over yourself, dude. Honestly. Point that energy somewhere else and do something fucking productive. Or just fucking sit there and just shut the fuck up. Get the fuck over yourselves when it comes to this shit. Either enjoy it or don't. I'm not saying you had to like, love, or even enjoy the last season. If you didn't fucking like it, that's cool. You have a right to not like whatever the fuck you don't like. I understand that part of it. Go ahead and not like it. But then to go on Twitter, to go on Instagram, to go on here, to go on there, and then just spread negativity upon negativity upon negativity upon negativity over how the fuck you didn't like this shit for the sake of just spreading negativity. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Why are you being so negative about this shit? Let other people enjoy what they want to enjoy. If you didn't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it. You can express it on Twitter. You can express it on Facebook. You can express it anywhere you would like to express it. That is fine. Express it. You can even go on the HBO site, the Game of Thrones site, the fan page, whatever, and be like, I didn't like it. But when you do this continuously, sign a petition and then just keep harping on this shit just so you can be negative and enjoy other people's good time of what they would have enjoyed it. At that point, you're just being a fucking asshole. Stop. Why do you want to be an asshole so hard, so much? If you liked it, great. I fucking loved it. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You can call me stupid for fucking loving it. I fucking loved it because it ended a story that I was invested in for like 2 years. Because I didn't watch from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I caught up to season 6 while season 6 was going. So I invested in this, well, more like 3 years because we didn't have one in 2018 because they just postponed everything in 2019. Just stop. Just stop being so fucking negative. At least your show has an ending. At least the show that you invested time has an ending. Maybe you don't like the ending, but at least it fucking has an ending. I've invested time to some shows that have no fucking ending. Netflix. I invested time in Santa Clarita Diet. That one I did spend fucking three years fucking liking it and enjoying it. They canceled that shit. So now the way that season 3 ended is the way the show fucking ends, and there was so much more to fucking tell. There was so much, at least one more season worth of stuff that's never going to happen because the show got canceled. The remake of V had 1 season, and it ends that way. When I know there could have been at least another season, but that's the way it ends. So it's done. They got canceled. There was a couple other shows on Netflix that I invested in, got canceled. Shows that I invested in on Fox got canceled. It happens. There's no fucking ending. At least we got an ending. Now, whether or not you like the ending, look, man, I understand it. We're all individuals. We're all going to have our own take on it. That's fine. Don't be so fucking negative about it. Don't be so negative about it. Stop using we. Stop using we like you talk for all of us. I loved Game of Thrones. I loved the way that it ended. I loved it. I'm not asking for us to love it. I'm not asking that we should love it. I loved the show. I have no problems with the show. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I did. Now, if you didn't, that's fine. But don't go on Twitter and be like, can we just ask for a remake? Can we just have this redone? Can we? Don't talk for me. Don't. I have my own fucking mouth. I can talk for my fucking self when it revolves around shit I don't like. Don't talk about us. You want to talk about we and what we should fix? How about we fix the fucked up abortion laws in Alabama? How about we fix the homeless problem that we all have to deal with in this country? The overcrowding in prisons, the overcrowding in schools. How about we fix that shit first? How about we fix the stuff that affects all of us first? How about we prioritize those things? We should fix this country. We should fix this fucked up governmental system. We should fix the workplace. when it's unjust, when it's disrespectful. We should do all of that to make the world that we live in better. We should do that. We should do that. When it comes to shows, when it comes to movies, when it comes to music, if you don't fucking like it, that's cool. You don't fucking like it. We can still like it even if you don't fucking like it. Don't include me in your fucking disgust or your dismay or your disinterest or your dislike for something. Because you don't talk for me. And you don't talk for we. Just like I don't talk for us. I talk for myself. That's why I call this Mo Banter. Because Mo is fucking bantering here. Mo is fucking talking. Stop with all this fucking negativity over made up shit. If you liked it, cool. If you didn't like it, cool. You don't have to fucking like it. You don't have to fucking like it. I get it. It wasn't your cup of tea. If you don't fucking like it, find a website, find a site, find a blog, find a journal page, find somewhere where you find people with the same interest. Because again, if you don't fucking like it, cool. Surround yourself with people who feel the same way, and however the fuck you want to interact with them, that's between you guys, or ladies, peoples. That's between you peoples. And then write it yourself. Rewrite season 8 yourselves. Use the current structure that was there for episode, for 6 episodes. Use that current structure. Use the current settings. And rewrite it. Write fan fiction. It's a thing that exists. It's a thing that exists. Write fan fiction. Go out and express yourself. Express your dismay in that way. In a productive way. Even if nobody reads your shit. Even if nobody reads what you wrote. That's fine. But express yourself in that way. Be productive with that anger. Be productive with that dislike, with that dismay, with that disinterest. Be productive. Go start a fan site and then just talk to other people who may have the same interest of not liking season 8 in the way that it ended. And then you guys can do something productive. You never know what it can lead to. And just an example, and it's sad that I fucking actually know this, but just as an example. And I never watched any of these fucking movies, and just admitting that I fucking even know this part of it kind of like hurts my soul, to be honest. But the fuck was I gonna say? 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey. That whole franchise, that whole series started as fan fiction of like erotic novellas, erotic novels based on the characters of what the fuck is that book with the shiny ass vampires? Is it Twilight? Is it Twilight? Is it fucking Twilight? Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. The one with fucking Cedric Diggory. The fuck is this dude's name? Is it Patterson? Rob Patterson? Well, whatever. The fucking franchise with the fucking sparkly. What is it? Twilight? The Twilight series? Twilight Saga? Whatever the fuck it is. Whatever. That's how 50 Shades of Grey started. That people were not really into like the lack of eroticism, I guess, with these characters. So somebody fucking went out there and wrote a bunch of fucking exotic things based on these fucking characters. And somehow that spun into 50 Shades of Grey, which is his own thing. So go out there and do something about it. Do a fucking podcast. Do a podcast about how you don't fucking like it and how you would have broken down every season. If you're better verbally than you are written, cool. Name it the way that. Do it a podcast miniseries. Game of Thrones, episode 1. And just kind of walk through what you would have done differently. Episode 2, what you would have done differently. Episode 6, how you would have ended it, what you would have liked, why you would have liked it, why this, why that. Talk about it. Express yourself. Be productive with it. But to just spread negativity for the sake of spreading negativity and then kind of come out in a way where you're talking for everybody? No. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. No. And that's my gripe. I don't give a fuck if people didn't like the show. You don't have to like the show. My gripe is that you took your perceived negativity and you're putting that out in the world For what? What value? That you think HBO really gives a fuck? Do you really think HBO was like, you know what? People were unhappy with season. Let's go spend $500 million to reshoot this shit again. They don't give a fuck. No company gives a fuck about your feelings. And the second you realize that shit, the better off you will be, the faster that will become. You can apply that to anything. You could apply that to just about anything. Don't take your enjoyment with something and then turn that shit into entitlement. That somehow, because you've been loyal for the enjoyment that you've been having, that a company owes you something. A company doesn't owe you shit. I don't enjoy Westworld. I don't. It's an HBO show. I don't enjoy it. I saw 4 episodes of that. I just don't care about the show. I'm a big geek. I'm a big tech geek. I would think a show like that would like right away just captivate me. I'll watch 4 episodes of that. I don't care to finish watching the rest of the show. I don't. I just don't. And then Game of Thrones is the exact opposite. Like, I really didn't have an interest in Game of Thrones, which is why I didn't watch it. But from the first episode, I enjoyed all of it. Even the end, I enjoyed all of it. I loved the show. Loved the show. I don't feel like HBO owes me a goddamn thing. Thank you. It's as simple as that. Thank you, HBO, for having this. That's how that shit goes. Don't ever think because a company produces something that you enjoy and that you support with money, with purchases, with whatever, memberships to subscriptions. Just because you invested real money doesn't mean a company owes you shit, and they're not gonna owe you shit. That's every company who produces something that you enjoy. Think about them as a glorified drug dealer. They're there to inject a smack into your veins so you keep giving them money. That is their end goal, to make money. But just because you give the drug dealer money doesn't mean that he's going to give you anything back. No. If anything, the stronger the drug becomes, the more you want, the more you're willing to do for it. In the form of subscriptions, in the form of buying shirts, in the form of buying cups, in the form... Look at it that way, because that's the way this shit actually is. They're trying to inject a smack in your veins. They might give you the first taste for free. But then after a while, it's like, oh, you know what? Like, now I don't want to pirate this shit. Now I don't want to wait a year and hope that somebody gets a stream. Now I don't want to wait for the box set. I want to watch this the day of. I got to get a subscription. That's you paying the drug dealer for easier access to your drug. At no point is the drug dealer gonna be like, you've been a good customer for 8 years. Here's a free kilo of smack for you. Go enjoy it. No fucking drug dealer is gonna do that. No company is gonna do that. Now every once in a while, a company might throw you a bone and be like, hey, here's an Amazon gift card or here's $5 off of Starbucks or if you buy 10 cups, we'll give you a cup of Joe for free. Like, some of them might do that. That's fine. That's cool. I understand that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Give somebody free smack for the smack they already injected into their veins. And I'm sorry I keep using the word smack. But, I mean, that's the way you have to look at life in America. That everybody who sells you something is trying to sell you something for them to get rich, and they don't owe you shit for it. Now, if you want to create a company where that's different, go ahead and create a company where that's different. I would like to feel that if I had that type of money or financial backing, that's the kind of company I would create. You know what I'm saying? Like, loyalty goes both ways. But I don't. And if I did, looking at how everything goes, I'd probably be out of business super fucking quick. Because people are fucking finicky. So what do? You appeal to the masses, you get all the money that you can, and then you fucking bounce. It's just how it goes, man. That's how life is. You're not entitled to anything just because you've been supporting this for so long. And I don't know the chick's name on TV, and for her to fucking go out there and spoil the fucking end of this show for people who haven't watched it, and then fucking justify by going, well, you're not a fan of the show if you didn't watch it Sunday. Fuck you. Life gets fucking busy. Just because you can set aside an hour of your day to watch this shit as it happened, good for fucking you. Not everybody has that fucking luxury. People have kids. People have to go out and do stuff. People have shit they have to actually do. I have a coworker who missed it because he just moved and he spent his whole time building furniture. So he missed it. He lost track of time and just by the time he got around to actually knowing and remembering that it was Sunday and it was Game of Thrones finale, he was tired. He fucking fell asleep. I came up one day. Did you watch it? He's like, no, I was building furniture and I just completely lost track of time. Forgot what day it was and I haven't watched it. I was tired. Okay, so I didn't spoil it for him. I kept my motherfucking mouth shut. And there's other people were talking like, hey, shut up. He hasn't watched it yet. For anybody to go anywhere and spoil shit because they were unsatisfied, you is a motherfucking asshole for that. For you to ruin somebody's potential good time because you felt disrespected, you're a piece of shit. Anybody who has done that, anybody who did that, you is a piece of shit if you felt you were entitled to spoil the last episode of Game of Thrones because you were dissatisfied with that shit. I don't want to hear justification. Well, I am a true fan. No, fuck that. Don't ever justify your negative attitude in any fucking way whatsoever when it affects other people. No. If you want to do shit for yourself, that's different. If you want to keep it off of a mass populace like a Facebook or a Twitter or an Instagram, if you want to keep it off of that and just spread it around yourself within a group of friends, that's fine. You can do that shit too. Deal in small clumps. That's fine. Deal it within. Don't ruin other people's good times because you feel robbed or you feel negative. No, it's not that serious. It's a fucking show. It's a fucking show. Now, if you got pulled over by the cops unjustifiably and then got written up and had some shit, yeah, you fucking spread that everywhere. You spread that shit everywhere so we can fix that as a society. That is something that could affect all of us. Injustice in any which way it comes can affect all of us. So yes, you go spread that out on Twitter, on Facebook, on things so we can try to fix that, so we can come up with a solution to fix something that could affect all of us. Game of Thrones, the way that ended, doesn't affect all of us. Even if you watch the show, it doesn't affect all of us. Keep your fucking negativity to your fucking self when it comes to these things that are meant for fucking enjoyment. Stop feeling so fucking entitled that these companies owe you something because they don't owe you shit. And that's episode number 2 of the Mo Banter podcast. Now, I know we switched volumes and I know we switched tempos. That's just the kind of guy that I am. I can be very compassionate about some things, very passionate about others, and very, very, very assholey about other ones. I decided to kind of be assholey about this Game of Thrones things because it really did irritate me that people felt entitled to a certain production of it. You know what I mean? And again, I fucking loved it. But this also, so we can separate this, doesn't take away what I started this episode off with. You know, sometimes people have those feelings. And this is talking back to the beginning. You're not alone. Please get help. Please look for help before things can get worse. If you feel like you cannot go through the cycles of this by yourself. Get the help that you need, please. And that's it. And again, if I can help you in any which way, just through the podcast, I will try my best. If you want to email me, so you can just kind of hear your voice and hear what you're going through the podcast, so you can kind of reflect it on your own, because that's what helps me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I listen through my own videos and my own podcast. And I try to reflect on why I felt that way and try to understand myself a little bit better. Not for anything else, just for that, just so I can understand myself a little bit better. If that's something that you think would be helpful for you and you want to hear your email read on this podcast, by all means, man, reach out. And again, there are certain things that are black and white. So I recommend that you put a lot of thought into what you want to reach out to me about. Because if it's something like this, like, you know, like depression or anxiety or these type of feelings, I'm all for it. I'm all for supporting those type of feelings. If it comes down to something else like racism, well, we'll just use racism as an example. If you want to like email me about racism and some other shit about, you know what, I'm not gonna fuck with that. Racism is stupid to me. I understand that it exists. I understand it's part of this world. It's been a part of human history forever. I'm not fucking with that, man. I'm not trying to mess with that. I'm not trying to even fucking throw my foot into that boat. So if I get emails like that, I'm not even gonna fucking, like, I'll read them to see it, and once it hits that point, I'm deleting them. I'm not spending no fucking airtime on that bullshit. Because that's just one of those black subjects with me, or white subjects with me. It's one of the ones that reaches the end that I just don't kind of want to deal with. But anything else that's kind of like, in that social anxiety, depression, something. If I can if you think I can help you out in any sort of way, just by reading your emails and reading your words, so you can hear them back at you. If you would want some insight on what my experiences were, just put a little footnote. How do you feel about this, or ask that question. How do you feel? What do you think? Blah blah blah. And we can do that. That's fine. But I'm not gonna force my opinion on you. I'll just simply read your words so you can reflect on them on your own, and I will do that for you, for anybody really. Just reach out at the email. Mo Banter Podcast is moebanterpodcast@gmail.com, and we can do that. And I'm more than willing to help you out for that, and hope that I can provide some sort of comfort if you so need it. But yeah, I mean that is outside of what the Game of Thrones rant and everything else. I'm completely legit about that, because I know sometimes the world can be a very, very lonely place, and it's not a good feeling. It's really not a good feeling. So with that and everything else, I thank anybody who has listened. Thank you guys so much. And this is just episode 2, and I hope to keep going beyond this. So up until next time, this has been Mo, and I will hopefully see you guys next time.